Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be doing this interview with Krista Beck, I'm so excited, really. I wanted to talk to a love and dating expert and coach for ages. And then, you came through so many recommendations. And I know that you're also an author with your book, Break the Glass Slipper.
Yeah.
So I'm just so thrilled. And little introduction. And first of all, welcome, Krista.
Thank you
Little
for
intro-
having me. Amazing.
little introduction. So first of all, as I already jumped the gun and mentioned, you're an author, and your message has been heard by over 1 million people globally, and you were known as a love writer. You've been featured on ABC, NBC, Fox, and TEDx. Actually, I think more network than that, but anyway, this is long. And over 20,000 hours of meditation, as well as being award-winning violinist. So, wow, you've been working as an expert and coach in this area for more than 10 years. So I'm guessing you are multi-passionate and, busy women who just love doing what you do and love life. And as I mentioned before, she's also the author of the best-selling book, Break the Glass Slipper, Free Yourself of Fairy Tale Fantasies and Find True Love in Real Life. So it's very important. True love in real life. And I know that it's a paradigm shifting dating guide where you show us how to stop sort of like the so-called Hollywood or fairy tale fantasies, and how, prevent us from that sort of thinking ruin our love life, so we can actually find true love and be real. And so I just
Mm-hmm.
love everything that you seems to be writing and doing, and obviously helping a lot of single people to attract healthy and long-term relationships. So welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, Australia.
Yes, so I'm talking to people from different parts of the world, and often what I find is that the message is very similar. If you're on the same path, where in this case finding true love, breaking all the fantasies and limiting beliefs, I often find the
Mm.
message really resonate no matter where you are, as long as you're ready.
Mm.
So first of all,
Yeah.
I really want to ask you about your book,
Yeah.
because you expose us sort of the society's fantasies about dating and relationships. So how did you discover this, and how did it all come together?
Well, well, I mean, like I said, I've been working with single people for over 10 years. So it meant a lot of phone calls, talking to single people, hearing about their problems, hearing about what's getting in their way. And I'm very data driven, and I love writing down what everybody says. And I started to know this pattern over years of doing this, these similar patterns, these similar stories that people were telling me, the reasons why they thought they were still single. And once I gathered all this data, I started to see the same similar stories over and over again. And so the book is actually a compilation of the top 10 stories that people tell themselves of the reasons why they're single. And in the book, I actually call these stories fairy tales. And in my definition of a fairy tale is a story that's intended to deceive. And so as I started to do more research as to why do people even believe these fairy tales about themselves, about love, about dating, and why do they keep believing this, I started to find the culprit, and it wasn't actually too hard to find, but that people around the world are constantly watching movies, TV, media, and we're inundated with these messages from movies and televisions about what love is and how it's supposed to go. And so that's why I decided to write the book, is because I really wanted to help single women to be able to free the single. Yeah, I did write the book for single women, but it really could, the book, anyone could read the book and get value of it. But I really specifically wanted to free single women of these fairy tale fantasies that really get in the way of them finding a real connection with a quality person.
So I guess lead into my second question. So that Cupid, like that, what are the top unhealthy fantasies that we single women buy into? I'm sure you say that top 10 story, I'm sure I might have bought into a few of them because there was a period of time I was single as well. So what was that like, you think, if you have to share with us a few?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure, sure. Well, I mean, so in the book, I do go into 10 of them. So you definitely have to get the book to hear all, to really do a deep dive into all of them. But I would say that pretty much the top one that I heard over and over again was, people really actually believe this. They really think love will magically happen. They think they don't need to do anything. They're just going to go along, and just like a Hollywood movie or just like a Disney movie, they're just going to magically meet someone, and then love will magically ensue. And what I'm busting up in the book is this fairy tale to really interrupt that, because what happens is, I go into this in more detail in the book, but people fall into a dating coma. You know, they bite this poisonous apple of that love's just going to magically happen. They buy that fairy tale, they buy that story, and then it puts them to sleep, you know, just like Sleeping Beauty or just like Snow White. And the dating coma is when single people believe this fairy tale so much so that they completely stop dating. They completely don't put themselves out there. They just they wake up, they get ready, they go to work, they come home, and then they sit on the couch, maybe drink a glass of wine and watch a movie.
By themselves.
By themselves, yeah. And then it just keeps going. And then so many single people come to me, they say, I thought it would have happened by now. Like women in their 30s, women in their 40s, like I really thought it, they sincerely with their heart, they're like, I really thought that this was going to happen. And the reason why is because they believe this unhealthy fantasy that love's not just going to happen with no effort on your part.
I love that, because I think, you know, when I was thinking back when I was younger, there's a period of time when you burn your hands, you know, in uni or college or high school, whatever. It's easy because you're meeting young people, single people all the time. But when you're in the workforce, often it's not the case unless you're very active socially. There are times that you really go to work, go home, make dinner, watch Netflix, right? So
Yeah.
I and then when you burn your hand a couple of times, then you get scared, you don't want to go out there. And then there's a lot of sort of things out there saying that follow the flow and natural and it will happen. And that becomes, to put two together, I'm scared already and I don't have time, and then magically happen, okay, I can. And then it's so easy for us to just like what you said on the website, which I love, which is about sitting on the couch watching Netflix. How is it going to happen? So, and I do believe in effort. And I'm not saying you need to force anything. I understand you can't force, but putting in effort and not believing, do nothing. It's something that I totally identify with. So, okay, I can't help myself to sidetrack.
Yeah.
So people come to you.
No, I love sidetracks.
They come to you and say, "Oh no, okay. So what do I do next?" So what do you tell people when they say, okay, Krista, I want to find someone now. I understand what you're saying. So help me. What do I do next?
Okay, like how should they take action, you mean?
Yes.
Like, okay, so I'm ready to turn off the Netflix. I'm ready to start getting out there. You know, I think the main thing is, you know, people really need to be clear on what they want. And I do find that I would say most people don't know what they want, but there's a lot of people who think they know what they want, but I also put them in the category of they don't know what they want, because everybody wants the same thing, right? When I ask single people what they want, they say, I want someone good looking, someone successful, someone who's funny. And, you know, but everybody wants that, right? I mean, and a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to know them when I meet them, that it's going to be some magical chemistry, this spark. And that's what they base their dating decisions on. But the first thing when people work with me is like, we get really laser focused on the kind of person that really would make a great long-term partner for them in the long term. And I would say about 95% of people actually don't do the work to really get grounded in who would actually be a true partner. But that means going into reality instead of the fantasy, because we're just so inundated with the fantasy and to date from this fantasy perspective that people don't even know actually the importance of getting real crystal clear. Just like if you were to start a business or a job, you need to know what the job that you're looking for, you need to know where it is going to be, you need to know what they're looking for, you need to know what you're looking for. And if you just go and put yourself out there for a general type job, then you're just going to get a general type job. Yeah, so people really need to be based in reality around like what in dating instead of the fantasy. We're inundated with the fantasies and how, and they influence how we're going to make our dating decisions. I'm inviting people to really just get grounded in reality, in what you want and what you need, and also in reality of what it really takes to be in a relationship. It takes more than just feeling attracted and having chemistry with someone. It takes more than just thinking they're attractive. It takes more than that. And so what I work with my clients is I help them to get really grounded in what it is they really need and want. And that's why I created my dating compass process, because then they know which direction they go, then they know how to sort, then they know where to go. And that's one of the biggest questions I get, like, where do I go to meet this person? When you get grounded in your dating compass and knowing what it is you really need and want, then it's easier to get strategic. Like, oh, well, if it's this kind of person, then I know to go here, here, and here. So that's one of the main core foundational practices. Like I would call them law, like the law of to work with me is like, we need to like get really crystal clear beyond demographical and information about what it is you truly value and need in a partner.
I love it because I completely agree with you. When you're wishy-washy with your goals, your dreams, you get wishy-washy results. And even though you say you want a person XYZ, but when it's actually not true, when that person appears, it doesn't quite work either, and then you get discouraged. So I love your approach to be really clear, really grounded, and take the approach of putting some effort. So once you know, say you really like a, I don't know, bookworm type of person, then you know where to look, as you say, because now you understand what type of person you can have the next step action.
Well, we would go even deeper than that. I love that you brought up bookworm, because that would be something someone initially would say, but then I would go a little deeper.
What kind of bookworm?
Well, it's not even that. Like, so what does the bookworm mean? Like, what kind of person are they? Do they value learning? Do they value it? Like, are they practical? Like I like to go below the surface, because bookworm may mean something, and I love that you use that example, but it's really like, it's really helpful for women to be like, yeah, actually, I do want to be with someone who values learning because I love learning. And I want to be with someone who also loves learning, because then we can passionately explore life together. But a lot of people don't get to that place. They just stay at the superficial attraction and good looking and a good resume. But when they're not grounded and like, wow, actually, that's a top priority for me to be with someone who values learning, then it's a whole other ball game of like, where would you actually go to meet that person? It's just a different, more grounded, more strategic way to date.
Wow, I really like it, because I can imagine a scenario where when you dig deeper, you say, what kind of bookworm? Okay, learner. So then you started to help them to discover what actually they want or need. And then what happened when they turn around like, no, Krista, I still like my Mr. Charming, Prince Charming. I don't want someone who's so practical. I want someone romantic. So, because you said earlier on, sometimes people think they think they know what they want, but actually in reality may not actually suit them, or it's not best for them, and so forth. That's why sometimes relationships doesn't work out. Yeah. So what do you say to them when they like, hold a minute, but I prefer that, even though you make me realize I'm this. So what do you do with these type of people?
I go, choo, choo, choo. I go, I give them little love spankings. And so really, well, one, in the process of helping people get clarity, it starts to unravel that Prince Charming myth, and, a lot of women, we've been inundated with that from Disney movies, that there's just someone that's going to come along and we're actually going to see hearts and we're actually going to hear birds and we're going to feel that pitter patter and he's just going to whisk me off my feet and take me on this romantic thing. And then I'm just going to know. And when women are on the dating scene and they don't have that experience, women actually think that this man is not a good fit for them. They actually will text him back and say, oh, sorry, I just don't think we're a good fit, but good luck. You're such a good guy. But here's the problem with that is because we've been inundated with this fantasy that you're just going to know, it's going to be magical, there's going to be this chemistry, it's going to whisk me off my feet, that we actually don't take the time to really invest time in getting to know someone and developing a connection with them. And so I encourage my clients to actually go slower with dating. They don't need to make a decision right away on the first date, whether they're going to need to know if they're going to marry someone, and to not have this high bar, this high expectation that you're going to be so blown away by this person and that's how you're going to know. No, you're going to know if someone's a good quality fit for you if you get to know who this person is over time. And so that's one of the things I like to teach people is allow love to blossom over time. Go on the second date, go on the third date, allow the connection between the two of you to really develop, and so I feel like that's a really more grounded, realistic way to approach dating than this magnetism, magical, whisk you off your feet, because there's a lot of there's a lot of great men out there that are not going to whisk you off your feet, but they're going to make great partners, but they just don't know how to do that Prince Charming whisk you off your feet. But that doesn't mean that they should be rejected because they're not charming, because there's a lot of guys out there that are super charming and they know how to manipulate women and they will do the Prince Charming thing, but then they will drop you out of the pumpkin at midnight with mud all over your face.
Wow, that doesn't look good to me.
No.
But I was putting up my hand, if those who are listening, not watching, because it was actually me who I was living in fantasies, and usually fantasy is great at the first, 1, 2, 3 months, and then you start to see things just deteriorating. But actually with my husband, it's similar story where many people were telling me on the side similar advice like you, and I also started to think, maybe I should approach this differently. But most importantly, we were friends, and I started to discover his qualities, and then he's like not a Mr. Charming, but sometimes it takes some time to uncover germs, and therefore, because we were friends, we were dance partner actually. And when people elbow me like, is he charming? I was like, no, like, like he's not my type, it's so bad. You label it for yourself, and then later on discover, this guy is quite nice. He's got this quality, that good quality. And then one day I just looked at him like, is there something between us that we need to talk about? So I dropped the bomb. Everybody laughed at my approach. I don't know. I think I came to an age where I got nothing to lose. You've been on this dating and successfully since for a while, and we're friends. And then he has seen me best and worst. So worst case scenario, he was like, no. And then I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I thought, what the heck? So I said, is there something between us? And then his face was just like, I'm such a good guy. Please don't kill me. And I just knew, okay, so there's something there, right? And that's how it started. There was no illusions. I have to give myself a chance to get to know someone. Not, sometimes we're so quick, like tick, 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 cross, cross, cross. No, you are in the not good enough, or not good enough, but you are not my type box, which I think really affected a lot of us. So I love what you said.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my type is definitely something I discuss in the book as well, as a fantasy, as a fairy tale. People get so attached to their type and what they think. But here's the thing, if you've been single for a long time and you have a type, I mean, your type hasn't worked out for you. So why are you so attached to it? Why don't you let go of what you think your type is and just expand being connected to men outside your type? Because the sad part about that fairy tale is that it's some women get the first date, but they don't get the second date. But when you are so attached to your type, you don't even get the first date with someone who actually could be a good fit, but they don't come in the package that you think that they should be coming in, but they could be, have you feel loved, adored, be in alignment with your values and everything, but they don't look the way you think. And so you they're out. And and so many women miss out on some really great partners that way, potential partners.
So, okay, let's recap a little bit. So we need to get really clear about what we want. We dig deep, we drill down, we get rid of the fantasies, we come into reality. You help us to understand ourselves better, and then we try to be strategic about finding love. So, okay, so that's where we're at. And then what's next? So how do you help people? Because, okay, now I know, Krista, I know what to do. But then going out, like, to meet guys, for some people who maybe they haven't been dating for a long time or nothing worked out. So then how do you help them to overcome that first step? So, okay, now you're ready to go. Like, you were clearer now. You get rid of all these previous feelings. So then how do you help me to get through the door? I still just want a couch.
Well, I mean, that's the big reason why people actually hire me, because they are really scared of dating and they don't know what they're doing. And so having someone to hold their hand and to guide them through the process actually has people feel more supported and grounded. In the same way, if people want to get the six-pack abs or get the big muscles, they hire a coach or a trainer that's just with them, because on their own, they probably wouldn't do it. So one way is to definitely hire a coach. It could be me or someone else to really hold you accountable and to guide you through the steps of to have dating be easier. But in terms of like people just listening, you know, who maybe are curious about hiring a coach or don't know what to do next, I mean, the main thing is to just take baby steps and get into action, to really bust up that fairy tale that love's just going to magically happen, because it's not. You need to put yourself out there. So if it is just, you know, finding out like the app that you feel most comfortable with, going on the app, or if it's going to a luxurious hotel, dressing up and sitting there with a fashion magazine and just allowing yourself to have some alone time and see who approaches you. It's anything that you need to do to just start. If it's like maybe joining a club, that maybe there's some hobby that you have been putting off, and instead of staying home, why don't you go do that hobby? It's really just about creating some little baby momentum, baby steps each day to kind of move that energy forward. I do believe that action is energy. And when you're not taking action, your energy gets stagnant. So even if you're just taking little steps, it starts to create momentum for you. And then you start to get into the habit of dating. Dating is a habit. And that's why I talk a lot about the dating coma, which some people call it a dating sabbatical. It's just pretty much taking a break from dating. Like people have a breakup and they're like, okay, I'm taking a break, which I totally get, for a few months or even up to a year, depending on how long the relationship was. But then that dating sabbatical or that dating coma can last for like 1 year. And then you get out of the habit of dating, and then it lasts 2 years. And then 5 years. And I have people come to me that haven't dated for 9-10 years. Wow. They're completely out of the habit of dating. They have no idea where they need to start. It occurs as overwhelming. Maybe they've tried a little bit, but they're not meeting the right people. So that's why it's really important to like have someone that's really positive and knows the ins and out of dating to be able to like support you in being able to like take that to the next level if you are really experiencing like like you don't know what you're doing, or you've been taking a lot of action and you're not getting any results. You know, you may be doing something or not doing something, and one little tweak, one little insight could be like, I didn't realize I was doing that. That's like busting. That's why I'm not getting the second date. I had no idea.
That would be so helpful. I can imagine a lot of listener out there thinking for themselves like, oh, that maybe that's what I need to to figure out. So this is so helpful, and I love what you talked about, baby steps, because I think the universe responds to you through your action, not your words, not your thinking that may happen someday. So you still need to take your action. And for those that who may be a little uncomfortable to get out of the house just yet, they still need a bit more warm up and guidance. So I know you got your book. So your book can help us to get started as a step. Is there anything else? You got coaching program, I'm sure, because you're a coach. And you got anything else that you can share with us that can help us to take
I have
first baby steps?
Okay, I have a great little baby step. I mean, I love the idea of them buying the book, Break the Glass Slipper. They can get it at breaktheglassslipper.com. And it's easy read and it's really engaging, and that'll help them break their myths so they could see what's actually stopping them. But a great, easy little tool that kind of can help them wrap their head around dating. I do have a dating IQ quiz, and you can go directly to datingiqquiz.com. Or they can go to my website, kristabeck.com. But the dating IQ quiz, it just takes 4 minutes. And in that 4 minutes of taking the test, every person gets to see like where they're measuring up with dating, and then where they're not measuring up with dating. So then they can start to see for themselves what's been missing for them. Or they can feel good about, I have been doing these things. But it's a way for them to really see their dating IQ and to see how they can improve it. I don't believe that you stay stuck in your dating IQ. Your IQ can definitely be improved.
It's just like anything else, with effort and a little bit of tweak and a little bit of help, you can definitely improve no matter what that is. So I think this is just brilliant, baby step wise. And so I'm going to include all the links you mentioned about the IQ tests.
Yeah, it is the
IQ quiz, and your book, and your website, in the details of this podcast and the blog post. So this is so exciting. I really think people who are single and wondering what's wrong or what has been happening, and maybe on the verge of losing hope, I hope this podcast and video can help people to maybe think a little differently and take a baby step. And that's how like everything begins, right?
It really does take one little baby step. Even if you just devote 30 seconds a day. I'm like, okay, 30 seconds I'm going to devote to my love life. What's the step? And then you do it. And so then you just keep doing that. Maybe you increase it to a minute the day after. As long as you're doing those little micro movements, it'll start to build like a momentum for you. It's really powerful
and magical.
Because love's not going to happen for you unless you're creating opportunities for love to happen.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much, Krista, for today. And
thank you.
So happy and so happy to have you here. And I really feel you make dating seems fun and approachable and not so scary. And I'm sure a lot of people love to work with you.
Oh, well, I would love to work with them. And it's been so nice to be here with you, Si Wing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.